What's going on here? Welcome back. Good to see you. I had a leg day today. I didn't film any of it, but this is probably my fourth actual dedicated leg day since October 30th of 2025. Believe it or not, I injured myself on October 30th of 2025. In kind of a serious manner, I would say. For me personally, it limited my ability to walk. I rode my motorcycle home that night, which was a huge mistake because I definitely was not capable of doing it. I couldn't ride it safely. I had to physically use my hand to move my leg in and out of place on my gear shifter. So, but I mean, I'll explain why that is. You know what I'm saying? So basically, if we go into these couple of pictures here, this is what I'm gonna use to explain it. All right, check it out. My big ass webcam is in the way. Okay, there we go. Let me move it up here. Is that better? That's better. That's good enough. Okay, check it out. All right, we look at this left picture here. If you look at the semitendinosus and semimembranosus, if I'm saying that correctly, they come around and it looks like, right? It looks like they insert on the tibia. So they come down medial on the leg, so on the inside of the leg, on the inside of your knee, sort of, or as opposed to the outside. You know, they're not like directly inside the knee. As you can see, they come around the edge of it right here on this outside part right here. But this is literally like in the middle portion of your body, so not on the outside, not on the outside of your hips, but on the inside portion of the leg, down near the knee, and they insert on the tibia. So what had happened was, okay, I was playing flag football. Big mistake. Shouldn't have been doing that, obviously. Not at my old age of 25, you know. At the time, I was 24, so not at my old age of 24, right? You guys like that painting in the background? My lovely girlfriend painted that for me. But I shouldn't have been playing flag football, I guess. It was just a big mistake. I was rushing the quarterback, and it was a great night for me, okay? It was a great night, man. I had 2 interceptions. One of them was a pick 6, dude, and it was just a good night, man. I was having a good time playing flag football, and I don't like flag football that much, man. I'm not a flag football guy. When I played football, it was all about contact. It was all about how hard I can hit somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I obviously wasn't doing that in flag football. But I'm rushing the quarterback, and I don't remember if I tried to jump or if it was just from sprinting or what, dude. But yeah. I just heard a pop, man. I heard a pop, and I went down like a sack of potatoes, man. Like a sack of potatoes. So, yeah, I felt it in my left knee first, and then my right knee. So my left one gave out, and then as I was trying to catch myself, I think I fucked my right one up too. My bad. Messed my right one up too. And it felt like it was inside the knee because the pain was just radiating everywhere. It felt like it was in the back of the knee rather than opposed to the inside of the knee. Which, worried me a lot of the time because I'm like, oh, shit, what did I just do, man? ACL, MCL, LCL, whatever it is, you know? It was none of those, so nothing to worry about there. But it was still semi-serious. So, I rode my motorcycle home that night. Big mistake, though, because my hamstring was not working properly. I cannot bend my knee back. I couldn't bring my heel to my butt at all. Literally zero power in it. And it was just very, very, very painful. So I literally had to reach down and grab my ankle every time I needed to move my leg and move it forward and backwards, which was a big hassle and a big drag for me personally, right? And then later that night, I was just in a bunch of pain. I could hardly walk. And then I woke up the next morning still in a bunch of freaking pain, dude. So much freaking pain. And I still could just barely walk, man. Like I said, I didn't know what was going on at the time, but I was just like, I just knew that I couldn't walk. So I was struggling through that, and then eventually I used crutches a little bit so that I didn't have to use my leg that much, because I didn't know what was causing it. Because whatever was causing the pain, I couldn't replicate it without a serious amount of pain. I couldn't have like just a tiny bit of pain. It was just excruciating pain the second that I tried to do whatever I was doing. So I couldn't figure out exactly what the movement was that was doing it. But throughout the day, throughout the couple of days after that, like I would just twitch my leg wrong and just I would just be crippled, dude, just fall to the ground. Like it was really bad pain. It freaking hurt, dude. Maybe I was being a wuss about it. I don't know. But, if anyone's ever had it and they worked through it and they just said it is what it is and went through it, then good to y'all, man. I don't know about that. But Yeah, so eventually, yes, I did. I found a knee brace, and I was wearing a knee brace for that, and that actually helped because I didn't have to bend my knee. Like my knee was completely supported, so there was no like accidental moving of the knee, if that makes sense. Um, so eventually, I went to the doctors, and something that is weirdly routine when you go to the doctors for what you complain is like tendon or muscle pain is they'll take an x-ray of it. X-ray doesn't show soft tissue or anything like that, so nothing showed up on the x-ray, you know. But then after that, you know, I got in with the doctor, and he's testing my side to side movement, and making sure it's not the ACL or the MCL, you know, and like feeling around, pushing, seeing if there's any pain on the front of the knee, in between the bones of the knee, and then in the back of the knee, you know, not a lot of pain in the back of the knee, just pressure at this point. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna put my hand behind your leg, and I want you to stop me from you know, pulling your foot forward. And I was like, nah, doc, I can't do that. I literally, I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. And he goes, all right, then you definitely don't have to, if that's, you know, where you're feeling the pain. And for some reason, that's when it finally clicked to me, right? It was like, okay, my side to side is good. I have no pain on the front or like in the back of the knee. So you know, me and my extensive history of schooling and whatnot, where I did take anatomy classes, I couldn't figure this out on my own. But like I said, I was too afraid to try and replicate it myself because I didn't want to mess it up further, and it freaking hurt, man. He goes, what it sounds like is it's not your knee, it's your hamstring. And I'm like, my hamstring? And he's, because I've only had hamstring pain like in the hamstring muscles in the middle of my thigh, or in the back of my thigh, right? Or up near my butt, you know, which is more gluteus anyways. But depending on the tendon, right? The tendons insert all the way up there on the pelvis. So, you know, but they also insert right below the knee. What do you know? And those tendons run right along the side of the knee. If you really wanted to, I bet that if you reach down and you felt you got these little bands on your knees, like if you, towards the back, but like if you put your finger in the middle of your knee on the back side, and then you drag it towards the middle of your body, up towards the front of your knee, you'll feel those tendons right there. There's two tendons right there. And that's those two tendons that I was talking about, the semitendinosus, semimembranosus. Close enough. Those guys actually come around the front and insert on the tibia. And that ended up being the pain. And he's explaining it to me, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes sense. And like I'm connecting it, you know, like I have a lot of pain on the front of the tibia, right where those tendons would necessarily insert. Like that's where my tenderness is at. I couldn't press on it for a while without there being pain. So I don't know. I didn't get an MRI done. I don't know what grade it was. This is just specifically me spitballing and guessing about what it could have been. It's somewhere like a grade 2, I want to say, because there wasn't a whole lot of there was a little bit of swelling, not a whole lot, but there was a little bit of swelling, and the bruising came like 3-4 days after, or not, like 4 days after it happened. I don't know how the frick that happened, but yeah, it took like 4 days for the bruising to pop up, which was very odd. But like I said, I just today, I was able to do 25 pounds for 4. They were a meaty 4, dude. They on hamstring curl, they suck. They hurt. I was doing it single leg. It really, really hurt. That's why I only did 4, as I gave up after that, because dang, did my shit hurt after that. But you know, it's just a long recovery process at this point. Like I said, that was back on October 30th that it happened, and it is now January. I'm filming this January 1st on this leg day that I just did. And you know, it's just now to the point where I can actually start lifting weight with it again. I've been doing it for like a couple of weeks, but it took me forever to even want to do hamstring curls, because when I'm standing, just the weight of my leg alone, I wasn't able to bring it up towards my butt. I could not do a hamstring curl standing or lying. I just physically couldn't. Even though after I went to the doctor, it got exponentially better for the next like 3 or 4 days, to where walking was normal again. I could sort of jog, you know, I had no problems there. But the biggest issue for me was after those 4 days of initial recovery, I just didn't feel like it was getting any better. The pain was still there. I still have pain to this day. And my strength was not coming back at all, you know, which kind of sucks for me, because I've been in this game for a minute, man. I've been lifting for a minute, and I have not been or felt this weak in forever. And like I said, I felt it in my right knee as well. The right knee pain is like actual more central to the back of my knee instead of like that inside where that tendon is at. It still could have been the same thing, but I still have a weird pain in my right knee because it happened at the same time. It was very, very weird, very fluky. You know what I'm saying? So I am pushing myself to get stronger, but because it's a tendon, I don't want to push it too hard, too fast because I believe that tendons take a little bit more nurturing. I feel like tendons grow stronger, slower than muscles, so I don't want to push it as hard as I would a muscle right now, especially if I'm not feeling comfortable with it. But the funny thing was that I was talking to the doctor about, and this is why I knew it wasn't a complete tear, is because those tendons were still there. And they still had tautness to them, so they weren't just free floating. So the tendons weren't completely torn. At least one of them wasn't, but both of them weren't. I could feel both of them. He could feel both of them. So they weren't both torn. So it wasn't a complete tear. But I physically couldn't use my hamstring at the time. But he was telling me that those tendons actually do grow back, those ones right there on the inside of the knee. And I hope that these diagrams are correct. I hope that these diagrams are actually the correct tendons that I'm talking about here, because this looks correct. You know what I'm saying? This one on the left hand side here. But he's talking about how those tendons actually they do regenerate. And sometimes for some patients that have this is procedure. That have an ACL tear, they actually take those tendons from the hamstring right there, they insert down there and use those to repair the ACL, because the hamstring tendons regenerate, which is quite interesting. I don't think that's the most common one that is used for athletes specifically, but that is an actual method that is used. Those tendons on the hamstring right there, they take those and put them on the ACL because those do regenerate. They don't regenerate the same as they were when they were originally there, but they do regenerate strong enough, and I believe you can regain like most, if not all, the function out of it. But don't quote me on that last part there. I'm not the freaking doctor, you know what I'm saying? But like I was saying, man, just to basically bring it all together, I just haven't been doing any leg days, and I am just now getting back into leg days. And I can squat now. And I can do RDLs and like glute bridges and stuff like that, just hamstring curls specifically. Bringing my heel to my butt with the use of my hamstrings is the toughest part, because that is where I feel all of the pain and all of the weakness, man. So like literally I'm in the gym, like gripping the shit out of the machine, like I'm having the hardest set of my life. Like I got this thing maxed out, but I have 10 pounds on there, 10 pounds. And I'm like gritting my teeth because like it's painful, but not painful enough to where I can't push through it. It's just disheartening for me personally, but like I said, we move on, we push passion, we push through. So at the end of the day, despite the injury that I have, I'm still doing my best to work back from it and get through it, because I do have goals of fitness this year that include competitions. So, I really just want to get back to where I was. And I understand it's going to take a while, but I can for sure get back and progress every week, as long as I'm focusing on the recovery portion of it and not pushing it too hard, but also not going too soft on it. You know what I'm saying? So that's the story of why I haven't been hitting leg day and why leg day has been very minimal for me. But like I said, I'm just gonna get back to it, man. Sorry I didn't film the leg day today. It was the 1st of January, so the gym was a little busy, but I also went at 3 p.m., which is my fault. 3 p.m. for the gym is usually a busy time, at least where I live. So I don't know if it's necessarily newcomers, but I'll tell you what, I've never seen the sales desk, the sales reps for, like the gym accounts and whatnot. I've never seen those desks so full. There's like 10 desks or so over in a portion of the gym, and I have never seen all of them have a person in them, and they did today. So good for them. Hopefully business is going good for them. I hope that anybody that's watching this video and just thinking about getting out there for the new year, the biggest thing I would say is just consistency over pretty much everything. Motivation is going to fall. Your wanting and willingness of it is going to fall, but if you stay consistent, that's how you're going to get results. So other than that, I appreciate y'all for watching. Hope to see y'all. next time.